it's Lisa. I have one other area in my house that I'm going to decorate for Christmas, and that's my mantle. This is a great place to put some garland if you don't have a staircase, or some of you commented on my last video that you don't have as much banister as you used to have. You can make a big impact on your mantle because most rooms are designed around the mantle being the focal point. I'm going to do a garland that will have 2 swoops, one on each side, and I've already put in my mantle 3 eye hooks, and these stay in here all the time. They've been in here for years, and the regular decorations that I have on the mantle hide those. This is an eye hook. You can get these at the hardware store, and they come in different sizes. So you just get whatever you want for your mantle. I think the ones I actually have in here are a little bit smaller than the one that I found to show you today. Now, I already have some wire on each end because I'm going to start in the center and then I'm going to drape this up to the ends. And if you have that wire there, it's handier than having to put it up there and try to hold it and go find the wire later. I've also already determined the center point in my garland, and my garland has the lights already on it. Just like the staircase, you can do that ahead, or you can put the lights on it after you hang it. So I have the lights on there, I have the center point, and I'm going to go ahead and start hanging this. And one of the easiest ways is just to go ahead and put this over the ends so it has somewhere to lay while you're attaching your wires to the middle. And I'm going to twist my wires together like I was twisting the bread bag wire closed. So I have the center done. Now let's go over to this end. And I can figure out how much I want this to droop down and how much I want to lay over the end. Then I'll just take my wire and feed it around the garland. I try to keep the lights out of this, so it's just going around the garland and not tugging on the lights. Keeping in mind that you're going to have things hanging down below this. We do not use our fireplace. If you used your fireplace for a real fire, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing this, or you'd have to be very careful about the length and whatnot. So you'll have to use your own judgment and gather information about what would be appropriate over a regular fire. But as I said, we don't use our fireplace, so I don't have to worry about what I'm hanging in front of it. And again, I'm just running the wire through the eye hook and maybe through it a couple of times to get a good tight grip on this. I want to make sure that it stays put. We definitely don't want it to fall off with all of our pretty ornaments on it. Now let's do the other side. Now when I do this side, I have to pay careful attention and make sure that I get my swags about the same length. So I have about the same droop in them. And what I found is that if I have aired and I haven't gotten the center quite in the center, it's better to, so that I have too much on one side or the other, it's better to have these swags the same drop to them. That's how far down they come. It's better to have the same drop and have a little too much or a little too little hanging off the end. That won't be as noticeable as having one swag that dips down a little bit and one swag that dips down a lot more. Kind of see where we are here. This is also very hard to tell when you're standing right on top of it, so sometimes I put it up there and then I have to go back and adjust it. It looks like I have just a little bit farther dip down on this one, and if I can adjust it up, I may, or I may let this other one out just a little bit. That's pretty close. As I say, my swags can dip quite a ways down. I can have things hanging down in front because I don't use the fireplace. So there's no danger to my situation. So you just have to, gauge your particular situation for your artificial garland. All right, I'm going to tighten these wires, and plug this in. I did check the lights ahead of time, so I know the lights were working, but we're going to get those plugged in. I'm going to plug the lights into this device, which is operated on a remote control. We call this at our house the magic button. So whenever our Christmas lights are plugged into these types of things, so we have a remote control for them and we don't have to go plug and unplug, and that is really, really nice. And you can find these at hardware stores. I'll try to find out from my husband what they're officially called. But I'll go plug this into the wall and we'll push the button and we'll get lights. Okay, so I've got my button. Press on, and behold, I have lights. So at night when we get ready to go to bed, I just press the off button and away they go. All right, so for now, let's put this where the rest of the remote controls are stored, or supposed to be stored, and we're ready to do some fluffing and decorating. I'm going to be adding some ribbon to this, but I'll go ahead and fluff out my branches. Just like I did on the staircase garland, I want to leave kind of a little hook to them on the end. I have plenty of this ribbon that I shared with you in the staircase garland video that I could wrap around barbershop style around this one on the mantle, but I think that I would like to stick with the same style that I have on the staircase garland. I have 2 pieces of it left. I don't have enough to go around, but remember that I said if you do the tucking in method, it doesn't take as much. So I can do 1 pass of the ribbon across here with the tucking in kind of method. I'm going to be kind of sparse with the amount of ribbon that I put in these 3 areas where the garland lays on top of the mantle, because I have a lot of other decorations I'm going to use here, and you're not going to really notice that that doesn't have very much ribbon on it. So I'm just going to start on the end and kind of tuck this in, fold a loop up and then tuck it in. And again, we're going to kind of come around here. We don't really need much there because that's going to get a lot more decoration. Then here we'll just bring another loop around and kind of tuck it into the garland, and I'm kind of going through the center. When I bought this, I bought enough to do the staircase and a little extra. I wasn't really concerned about doing this mantle. And as I said in the other video, always buy plenty because it gets gone. You know, wherever you bought this, they're not going to have the same thing the next year. In my case, the store went out of business, so I definitely can't get any more of this ribbon. This piece is a little bit longer. Oh, and I didn't come out with a piece for that end there. I could take it off and move it a little bit, but what I think I'm actually just going to do is, rather than take this off and make it any skimpier, is I'm just going to cut this end off, and it won't have the ribbon, that is, then it won't have any down there on that end. I think that'll be fine, and then I just won't have ribbon on the ends. Let's say there's going to be a lot of stuff on those ends anyway. So here are my decorations that I have spread out. I took my sheet that I had on the dining room table the other day and put that over an ottoman and the sofa and spread everything out, again, sort of in the order that things will go up on the garland, starting with these bows, and then we have some larger ornaments. I have two more of these glass balls. You'll see a theme here of pink and a little bit of the purpley tone, a lot of gold and white and pink. This garland was originally used in a guest bedroom that was decorated in pink at the time, and I bought a lot of these ornaments. These were Martha Stewart from Kmart. She had that color that particular year. I don't remember what year it was, but it's been a long time ago, and so that's how I got started with it. And it does sort of work with some of the other things in my house. It makes it different, and I think it makes it go really further into the winter, so I often leave this one up till about the second week or so in January. Now my bows, I've already fluffed one of them, or 2 of them. This is the way I pack them up at the end of the year. They just sort of get squashed in the box, but I roll up the ends, and then when I get ready to take them apart, I don't completely unroll them. I sort of pull them out like curled hair. And that gives them, that kind of a neat tail when they're hanging. So I'll do that. There's 3 little tails to each of these. I did not make these bows. I didn't know how to make bows at the time I had this done. So I bought these at a floral shop. They did them for me. And I've just used them year after year after year. Get the wire ribbons. You can just keep using them. So I've had these, I know I've had them 20 years now, at least. And then I'll just fluff out the rest of the parts of the ribbon. Okay, I'm going to put one of these bows in each of the 3 places where the garland hangs over the mantle. And we're just going to attach the wire to the branches. I have a few things that I only have one of. This angel, this ball, and this larger ornament that I know I want to put in the center. So I've secured myself a couple of branches down here at the bottom. Just pulled these down so that I would be sure to have something to hold the ornaments with. This is a glass ball, and of course it's very, very fragile. So in addition to the original string that it came to hold it with, I've added some extra support to it over the years so that nothing happens to it. It was a gift from a friend and I don't want it to get broken. So let's take a quick look at where we are with the ribbons and bows on our garland, and we're starting to put up some other ornaments. Now some of these I have 3 of, and I have 3 distinct areas here, the ends and the middle, and I do that with these long pink glass ornaments. These were Martha Stewart ornaments that kind of go with all the other colors. I think they really look good that way, but I don't want to do this with everything. I don't want everything to look like it's just designed around those ends and that center. So I'm going to take some of the other ornaments and spread them out in different ways. I have these 3. They also were Martha Stewart, and they are all 3 gold in the same style, and I'm spreading them out in really 3 different areas of the garland, but in different positions. And then the same thing with these 2 pink ones. It would be easy to put them just in the center of the swag part, but I'm putting one more in the center and then one more off center a little bit, kind of up into the swag, to give it some variation so it doesn't all look too symmetrical. And I've got a few more pointed ornaments that I can add. I do have a lot of round ornaments for this particular garland. That's just what was available. I have so many that I don't use them all every year. I just decide which color I want to go with. And this year I decided to go with that more purpley color. That kind of matches what I did on the staircase. You don't really see my stairs from the living room. It's all open. You can if you're standing in just the right spot, but I know that the colors will somewhat coordinate by adding that darker color in. And then I'm mixing in some gold ornaments, several things that I only have 1 or 2 of. Scatter those around along with the more foundational ornaments that are either all pink or all the purpley color. For the bows, I add a little bit more to these with some poinsettias. I have 2 pink ones, so those are going to go on each end. They're not even really the same style, but you don't really know that, putting them that far apart. And then in the very center, I do a lot of white, and sometimes I just do these first couple of things that I'm going to add here and stop there. And that looks nice. And then other times I add what I call the crown, which is putting in some floral decorations that I bought, I believe, at A.C. Moore a few years ago. These pink little, I don't know what they are exactly. They're just little stems that have little pink balls on them. and that gives it sort of a crown kind of look to the center. And as I say, sometimes I like that and sometimes I think it's a little much. So it's just sort of whatever I'm in the mood for when I decorate this. Fluff the ribbon out a little bit. And I have a few more individual ornaments. There are some white crocheted ornaments that I made a long time ago that I hang on there, and a couple of mirrored ornaments that are really beautiful. I only have two, so I kind of spread those out. And keeping a consistent color scheme and having a few ornaments that are all the same really gives this some continuity. I have these three pretty birds that were Martha Stewart. They're in that dark purpley color as well. And we're just about ready to wrap up our garland. So this finishes up the mantle garland. I just added a couple of accessories to the mantle. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll do some close-ups so you can see all of the parts of this and how the ornaments came together. What you're seeing in front of the mantle is the bottom or the top of my TV. As I said, we do not use our fireplace, so the TV actually sits in front of the fireplace. So we really get to look at this garland a lot. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you liked it, I would love to get a thumbs up on YouTube or a like on YouTube. I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much.